Most people believe manipulators target the weak, but that's not true. Manipulators don't go after weak people. They go after the unguarded, the ones who are kind, open, and willing to trust without hesitation, the ones who don't think they need boundaries until it's too late. There's a silent rule in life that most people learn the hard way. If you don't set boundaries, someone else will set them for you. And when they do, those boundaries won't protect you. They will control you. Manipulation only works where access is unlimited. Unlimited access to your time, your emotions, your attention, and your energy. And once someone has that kind of access, control becomes effortless. But today, that changes. Today, you take your power back by understanding the 7 boundaries that make you emotionally untouchable. The first boundary is emotional non-reactivity. Manipulators feed on reactions. They provoke you, trigger you, and push your buttons, not because they're emotional, but because they're calculating. Every reaction you give them is information. It tells them how to control you better.
But imagine this. Someone tries to provoke you, and instead of reacting, you respond once, calmly, coldly, and then you move on with your life. No long messages, no emotional explanations, no arguments. That silence isn't weakness. That calm isn't passivity. That is control. Because when you stop reacting, you become unreadable. And when you're unreadable, you're uncontrollable. The second boundary is limited personal access. Not everyone deserves full access to you. Not everyone deserves to know your thoughts, your struggles, your plans, or your vulnerabilities. But many people make the mistake of oversharing. They talk too much, reveal too much, trust too quickly. And without realizing it, they hand over the very tools someone can use against them. The more someone knows about you, the easier it is for them to predict you, to manipulate you, to control you. Privacy is not secrecy. Privacy is protection.
When you become a little more reserved, a little more selective, a little more private, people start to feel something they're not used to: uncertainty. And that uncertainty breaks their control. The third boundary is clear consequences. A boundary without consequences is just a suggestion, and manipulators don't respect suggestions. They test them again and again. If someone crosses your line and nothing happens, they learn something very important. Your limits are not real. But when your boundary is followed by action, calm, consistent action, it becomes real. You don't need to argue. You don't need to shout. You don't need to explain yourself over and over. Sometimes the strongest response is distance, silence, withdrawal of access. Consistency is what builds authority. And when people realize that every action has a consequence, they stop testing you. The fourth boundary is self-validation. If someone can control how you see yourself, they can control you completely. That's why manipulators often create doubt. They question your decision,
your worth, your perspective, slowly making you rely on them for reassurance. But the moment you stop seeking validation from outside, everything changes. When you know who you are, when you trust your own judgment, when you stop explaining yourself to people who don't want to understand, you become untouchable. Confidence isn't loud. Confidence is quiet certainty. It's the ability to say, I know who I am, and I don't need to prove it to anyone. The fifth boundary is detachment from approval. Approval is a leash, a silent one. As long as you need people to approve of you, you will adjust yourself to fit their expectations. You will act in ways that keep them happy. You will slowly lose yourself, trying to be accepted. But the moment you let go of that need, the leash breaks. Now, you don't perform for approval. You don't react to criticism. You don't shrink to make others comfortable. Instead, you move forward,
focused, calm, and unaffected.
People may judge you, they may criticize you, but none of it touches you because your worth is no longer in their hands. And that is freedom. The sixth boundary is strategic silence. Silence is one of the most powerful psychological tools you have. Manipulators expect noise. They expect you to defend yourself, to argue, to explain, to react. That's where they feel comfortable. But silence disrupts them. When you say less, they have less to twist. When you don't explain, they have less to attack. When you stay quiet, they're forced to face themselves. Silence creates space. And in that space, their control disappears.
Sometimes one moment of calm silence can undo an entire hour of manipulation. It's not about avoiding conflict. It's about refusing to participate in unnecessary battles. And finally, the most powerful boundary of all, the willingness to walk away. Nothing intimidates control more than independence. As long as someone believes you won't leave, they believe they can keep pushing you, keep testing you, keep manipulating you. But the moment they realize that you can walk away at any time, everything changes. Because now, they are no longer in control. Walking away is not weakness. It's self-respect. It's the decision that your peace matters more than their presence. That your value is not dependent on their behavior. And when you truly reach that point, when you are no longer afraid to lose people who don't respect you, you become impossible to control. At the end of the day, remember this. Manipulators don't chase strength. They chase reactions. They look for people who respond emotionally, who explain too much, who seek approval, who fear loss. But the moment you choose yourself, the moment you protect your peace, the moment you stop reacting and start controlling your energy, they lose their power over you. Because they don't argue with the unavailable. They don't chase the emotionally strong. They simply move on. And that's the moment you win.